Good evening and welcome. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. It's been 3 days since Parliament proceedings have been held up. Two issues have ensured this, and both issues have been taken up by opposite sides, the government and the opposition. While the Congress and 15 other parties today demanded a JPC into the Adani issue, the BJP and Treasury benches are adamant that Congress MP Rahul Gandhi should come to Parliament and apologize for a series of comments that he made during his trip to London. Today, Mr. Gandhi came back to India, but he wasn't in Parliament even as the rest of his party joined others in a protest march. The BJP also used the day to sharpen its attack on the Congress MP, alleging that Rahul Gandhi is engaging in shoot and scoot, using foreign soil to level allegations at his country and its institutions, which he didn't back up in Parliament.
It is shameful that Rahul Gandhi, instead of coming to Parliament and apologizing for his undemocratic rant against India, today seeks to be absent from Parliament. Every Indian citizen demands an apology to the Indian Parliament, which is not mere an amalgamation of parliamentarians. It is the voice of the Indian people. Democracy, Mr. Gandhi, is not in peril. The Congress party has been brought to political perish by the people of India for this very behavior that you exhibited against the nation state overseas.
Now, before we get into whether anyone should apologize or not, let's actually tell you what has happened since those comments were made by Rahul Gandhi. The Congress has been adamant that he never called for any foreign intervention and that this is only a distortion done by the BJP. The man who coordinated RG's London visit wrote a long explanation on Twitter saying, "Please stop promoting and propagating lies about what Rahul Gandhi said in London. Do you really know what he said? For clarification, please note that Mr. Gandhi basically said the following: Indian democracy is a global public good. The state of democracy in India is a concern, and it's an Indian problem. We will deal with it." Sam Pitroda also says that Rahul Gandhi never invited any foreign countries for help. "I was there as an Indian professional with a logical, rational and open mind, eyes and ears." Now here's the thing. What Mr. Pitroda is saying is true, but only halfway so. Because the truth is that Rahul Gandhi made multiple speeches in London. In the first one, he did say that the US and Europe should react to what's happening in India, and in the next day's speech, after a lot of uproar back home, he decided to backpedal on the initial comment. Listen in.
The surprising thing is that the so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious that a huge chunk of the democratic model has come undone, right? Which is a real problem with regards to, and frankly, the opposition is fighting that battle, right? And it's not just an Indian battle. It's actually a much more important battle. It is a battle for a huge part of the democratic people on this planet.
It's our problem, right? It's an internal problem. It's an Indian problem, and the solution is going to come from inside. It's not going to come from outside. However, the scale of Indian democracy means that democracy in India is a global public good, right? It impacts way further than our boundaries. If Indian democracy collapses, in my view, democracy on the planet suffers a very serious, possibly fatal blow.
So that brings us response to the question, is the Congress finding itself boxed in thanks to the comments made by Rahul Gandhi in London specifically about countries intervening to save India's democracy? Is it now using a second speech in order to engage in damage control? Will Mr. Gandhi explain his comments in Parliament now that he's back in the country? And finally, why is the BJP so intent on an apology? Are they doing this simply to stall Parliament and stop the opposition benches from having a say, as the Congress is alleging?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, we have RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swarajya, Kamruzzaman Chowdhury, leader of the Congress, Vivek Bansal, also leader of the Congress, and Kapil, madan, lawyer. Let me start with you, Kamruzzaman Chowdhury. Will there be an apology?
Padmaja, good evening. I don't think so. Rahul Gandhi needs to be apologetic, nor me as a member of the Indian National Congress will want to be apologetic out here. Whatever the issues concerned, I am coming to that later. But what Rahul Gandhi said in London doesn't find synonymous, is it not finding resonance in what's happening inside India right now?
Sir, the apology is being sought for the following. Very simply, the apology is sought for the following, that to seek foreign intervention is to undermine India's democracy. And for that, a sitting member of Congress, a sitting member of Parliament of the Congress should apologize. Limited to that. Whether we are failed as a democracy, whether we have a problem or we don't have a problem, that is not something somebody else shall decide, and for that an apology is being sought. Will there be an apology only for that narrow point?
Well, I think so. Rahul Gandhi has... There is absolutely no question of an apology out here. The basic moot question, you cannot just subvert and divert to a different issue altogether. The issue of democracy being subjugated, the parliamentary form of democracy being hijacked by the presidential form of governance that the BJP wants in the country, that is the problem in the country. We have heard how the law minister is trying to bully the judiciary. How the BJP ruled states are...
Sir, again, you are not answering my question. There can be multiple issues.
What do you call this?
Okay, there can be multiple issues at the same time in our country. And thanks to us being a democracy, we can address and argue and debate all of them together. But surely at no point do we say
that is the problem.
that US should come and settle it for us.
Address as an... No, Padmaja, we are not able to address this problem. The parliament has not been functioning from 13th of this month. What is the main reason? All the opposition wanted a discussion on Adani, a JPC on Adani. A biggest scam in corporate history has happened in India even after Harshad Mehta or Ketan Parekh times. This is one of the biggest
again you are dancing
scams.
around my
the
question.
Parliament will not discuss this. Parliament will not want a JPC on this.
Okay. Again we are dancing around and shifting
goes
goalposts. So let me go to all of the guests.
Outside India, criticizes the government.
It is not about criticizing the government. Criticize the government all that you like. Criticize it. That is what happened today also when 16 opposition parties were marching.
Padmaja, 10 seconds I will take. You know, according to you, criticizing the government is criticizing India.
I'm not saying that at all. I literally just said you criticize the government all that you want.
India.
Today we had 16 opposition parties marching.
Mandali are trying to project it that way.
I am saying the exact opposite, sir. I don't have to project. I'm saying it in so many words. My 7 words are criticize the government all that you want. Criticize the government. Nobody is stopping you. But you can't ask for US and UK and Europe to intervene. For that an apology is being sought, Mr. Bansal. Will that apology be forthcoming? Simply for saying that US, UK, Europe should react.
Oh, well, Padmaja, first of all, I would like to say that the apology which you are seeking and this habit of BJP of factoidism, I would say, you know, repeating a lie so many times that it turns into a fact or right. What he at no point of time in his speech he sought for an intervention. Definitely, if Mr. Modi criticizes Indians in Korea or in China, that is not taken cognizance. For that there is no apology. because whatever he is holier than thou, because he can get away with anything. But if Mr. Rahul Gandhi does, like it used to be said that during Napoleon's time, France used to sneeze, the entire Europe used to catch cold.
Right. I'm very glad you mentioned this, sir. I'm very glad you mentioned this. So here's a bit of a fact check.
Yeah.
Here is what Mr. Modi said in Korea.
Yeah.
Now, this is what is being quoted. In his sole speech, he is quoted as saying, there is a time when people would say that one must have sinned in past life to be born in India. It's a hopeless government. It's better to leave it and go home to another country. And people left. In some years, even the industrialists no longer wanted to do business here and wanted to leave. But it is in...
No,
hold on. So I'm actually reading out the part that the Congress is tweeting. But here is the thing. There is a longer part to what he said in Korea. Mr. Modi then goes on to say, most of them had a reservation, but I don't want to delve into the reasons, nor do I want to make any political statements. But, and what after all is the country? It is neither the government nor it is Modi. It is the zeal of 125 crore Indians that make India. He says this is not me. This is not the BJP. It's not Modi who makes India. It is the Indians who make India, and I do not want to make political statements. That's the full speech of what he said in Seoul. Mr. Bansal.
And in China, what did he say?
That's a very good point. No, I will also tell you what he said in China. Let me quote to you. It's always good. Hold on a second. I'm glad you came to this. What did he say in China? What is being quoted? What the Congress is quoting from the China speeches: you are living in foreign countries. How were your days? Are you from India? Oh, he is an Indian. Did this happen to you or not? People have this kind of attitude. Are you yourself proud of India's progress or not? This is what is being selectively quoted. Now let me play for you the rest of what the Prime Minister actually said in Beijing, in Shanghai, when he was in China. Let's listen in to the full speech of what he said while in China.
कोई माँ मोहल्ले में अपने बेटे को दिन रात डांटती रहे, कहीं भी खड़ा है माँ करके डांट दे, कहीं खेल रहा है तो माँ करके डांट दे, तो मोहल्ले के बच्चे उस बच्चे को कभी स्वीकार करेंगे क्या? स्वीकार करेंगे क्या? जिस बच्चे को उसकी माँ ही दिन रात डांटती है, उस बच्चे को दोस्त लोग भी स्वीकार नहीं करते। दुनिया भी हमें तब स्वीकार करेगी जब हम खुद भी तो अपने देश का गौरवगान करना शुरू करें। हम ही अगर हमारे देश को कोसते रहेंगे, हम तो ऐसे हैं, हम तो वैसे हैं, हमारा तो ऐसा था, अरे छोड़ो यार, देश ऐसे नहीं चलता दोस्तों।
So Mr. Bansal, far from saying that he went and abused India in China, the Prime Minister actually said that we should stop cursing our countries because then other people will be encouraged to curse us as well. That is what he said, that stop abusing your country.
Okay. He's talking about that people were leaving this country. What would you say that recent revelation had come, recent report had come, that more than 2.5 lakh
Sir, why are we shifting goalposts?
Man is shifting the goalposts. Padmaja, ask him to stay on the point.
Sir, why are you shifting goalposts? We can then go
I
on
am
and
shifting
on.
the goalposts. I am shifting the goalposts. Selective contradictions are taking place. Selective interpolations are being taken.
Sir, if anyone has been selective, it has been you. I actually played out the full speech.
Why you are insisting?
I am insisting because I want you to see the full speech. Let me quote to you.
He sought foreign intervention. He sought foreign intervention at no point of time.
Let me play out for you again what Rahul Gandhi said, because today you are coming back and you are saying...
And he had been addressing Indians over there. What he had been saying in the country here, he was saying there. So let me just tell you that he never at no point of time, that the way BJP spokespersons are saying that he sought intervention.
You don't have to listen or believe BJP spokespersons. Okay, first of all, are we agreed that Mr. Modi in the two speeches whose example you have taken did not at any point curse the country or abuse the country, Mr. Bansal? Have we agreed on that, or should we play it out again?
I am not getting into that debate. Okay, I stand corrected. If I was under that impression, you corrected me on that. Okay, good enough. But as far as you are saying that he should be apologetic, what he said was correct, and he was addressing Indians over there, and so there was no harm. He was telling the state of Indian democracy, the sort of authoritarianism, the way it is playing.
No, he did not.
Today, unless
it is okay for him to say that.
Space to the
it is okay for him to say that. It's okay for him to say. Sir, it is okay.
Padmaja, just play the video for him, please. That will help him.
What is holding them back? I
again.
fail to understand for a JPC.
Bansal
you
sahab,
have been talking about crony capitalism.
I request Padmaja to play the video so that
when you were
she can give me
Okay, the request is to play Mr. Gandhi's videos again. I will play both of the videos again so that you and the viewers can hear it again, Mr. Bansal. And nothing should be left to the imagination. Let's stick to the facts.
All that is under the scanner now.
So whatever is under the scanner should be under the scanner.
Why don't you yield to that? Because you want to skirt away the issue?
I'm skirting nothing, sir. In fact, I'm trying to lay out the full context. Let's listen into both of what Mr. Gandhi said. Again. Listen.
The surprising thing is that the so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious that a huge chunk of the democratic model has come undone, right? Which is a real problem with regards to, and frankly, the opposition is fighting that battle, right? And it's not just an Indian battle. It's actually a much more important battle. It is a battle for a huge part of the democratic people on this planet.
It's an internal problem, it's an Indian problem, and the solution is going to come from inside, it's not going to come from outside. However, the scale of Indian democracy means that democracy in India is a global public good, right? It impacts way further than our boundaries. If Indian democracy collapses, in my view, democracy on the planet suffers a very serious, possibly fatal blow.
RP Singh, if he is talking about the dictatorial government, why should he apologize? Whether in India, whether in London, whether in United States, an Indian citizen has the right to speak his mind while speaking to the Indian diaspora. RP Singh.
Well, he has all the right to criticize the government, but not the institutions of the country. When he says that the democracy is failing in India, and then he's seeking, when you just now played it, he's seeking the help of the intervention of the, intervention of UK and US in case of the Indian democracy collapses further. And he spoke about Supreme Court also, he spoke about you also as a media. He spoke about that he is not being allowed to mobilize around, he probably walked 4,000 kilometers and still he says that he is not allowed to mobilize. Supreme Court gives decision, holds a verdict on Adani and then has set up an inquiry on Adani, but still Supreme Court is not independent and it's not democratic. Parliament, they walk out of the parliament, man is allowed to speak for probably 43 minutes in the parliament and still parliament is not allowed to function. So the real problem is, Padmaja, that dynasts can't swallow this. In the dynast system, is my way or highway. If things happen as per them is good. If they don't happen as per them, then it's not democracy. There's the core of the problem. Can I never interrupted you, sir. Bansal sahab, just hold on. Give me another 5 seconds. Bansal sahab, 5 minutes ruk jaiye, please. 5 seconds, sorry. Other thing. I have more serious objection than this. One is the democracy part. I have still more serious objection than this. In this video, probably you can play that video, he pointed out a finger to a young Sikh lad, young Sikh child, saying that you are treated as a second-class citizen in the country. I mean, is he promoting democracy or is he promoting disharmony on a foreign land? And then pointing out towards Sikh child saying that you are treated as a second-class citizen. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, we are proud of India, in spite of you, in spite of your father, in spite of your grandmother.
Show that to us on the screen. Show that to us on the screen.
Country. So we are proud of our country. Don't tell us we are second-class citizen.
Okay, Kapil Madan.
Don't poison young mind in Cambridge.
We would like to see that on the screen.
Can I?
Okay, we will just bring it up and play that as well. Kapil Madan, yes, respond.
Yes. I think Padmaja's entire narrative of the debate is, BJP is demanding an apology. And, while we talk about the issue of apology, I would like to give few apologies, which I personally feel our citizens should get. I would like to give an apology to the young journalist who just got arrested in UP for raising questions from the BJP minister. I would also like to give apology to all the Indians who have lost money because of this Hindenburg crash. I would also like to give apology to all our citizens because when the questions on Hindenburg was asked in the parliament, the remarks and those debates got expunged. I would also like to give apology to all the citizens when our government refuses to have JPC
do debates without any documentary evidence.
No, one at a time, please, one at a time. Let's not get into a shouting match. Let him list out what all apologies should be tendered. Go on. Kapil Madan, yes.
Mr. Singh, I would also like to give apology to all the citizens that we have gone several notches below on the democracy index. I would also like to give apology to all the citizens that we've gone several notches below in the democracy index.
Who builds up the democracy index?
And while you stay in the government, and you seek apology from Mr. Gandhi. That's the irony. I mean,
okay.
We should all
I'm very glad you spoke. I'm very glad you spoke of miscarriage of justice. Now, here's an interesting thing that happened. When we are talking about freedom being in danger, democracy being in danger, Tushar, before you respond, Tushar Gupta, on Monday, the Jharkhand High Court quashed an FIR that was filed against BJP MPs Nishikant Dubey and Manoj Tiwari on allegations of forcibly entering the air traffic control office in Deoghar and allegedly pressuring the personnel to grant clearance to their chartered flight. You know what the Jharkhand High Court said? That the FIR, Kapil Madan, that has been filed by the alliance government of the JMM Congress is malified, and even said that if this case is allowed to continue, it will lead to abuse and process of law. So who is being dictatorial? The High Court had to come in and say that MPs were booked in the case in a malified fashion, quashed the FIR against Manoj Tiwari, Nishikant Dubey and two of Nishikant Dubey's sons. And you know what Imran Pratapgarhi, Rajya Sabha MP of Congress, had said about this episode? He said Nishikant Dubey आतंकवादी जैसे हैं, उनको जेल में डाल देना चाहिए. And today it has been called a malified FIR. So much for freedom, so much for democracy. Kapil Madan, yes.
Can I now give you the response now? Since you quoted one judicial order, and honestly, I'm not aware about this judicial order, so I would not like to make any comment on that. But let me give you a few, recent orders where the issue and the fact how you've been using the process of the law against the opposition is being misused. Pawan Kheda, Honorable Supreme Court intervened. You pick him from the aircraft. Without issuing a notice to him. Without serving a notice to
Sir, again, when talking about freedom and democracy, I have fact-checked two of your claims. I have fact-checked two of your claims already. As far as Pawan Kheda is concerned, even you know, sir, even you know that he apologized eventually. Anyway, we've been over this again and again and again. But as far as the Prime Minister's speech is concerned, Rahul Gandhi's speech is concerned, and democracy and freedom is concerned, the three fact-checks are in front of you. Tushar Gupta.
Kapil talks about the Pawan Kheda episode and the Honorable Supreme Court granting him relief. Kapil, the problem is that Rahul Gandhi believes there is nothing honorable, anything about the courts now. He says that the judiciary is a sellout to the BJP. You being a lawyer, you someone who's so learned and goes through so many judicial orders every day for a living, you tell me, is the judiciary today a sellout to the BJP? You call the Supreme Court honorable and rightfully so, but Rahul Gandhi in his interview to Harvard professors in Cambridge and wherever says that the judiciary is a sellout. And Padmaja, the media he questions every day, the media he says is a sellout to the BJP, the same media gives him all the attention during his Bharat Jodo Yatra. The election commission, he says, does not function in a transparent manner. The same election commission was there when his party won the elections in Himachal and a bypoll in Maharashtra recently. But forget everything, Padmaja, all very trivial matters. Forget an apology also from Rahul Gandhi. If the Congress spokespersons actually believe that what Rahul Gandhi said was correct, and it was in the spirit of democracy, I think the BJP should go a step ahead and challenge Rahul Gandhi to read out his speech in Cambridge verbatim on the floor of the parliament to say why there is a case for Western governments to interfere in Indian democracy and then see how it goes from there.
But here's
if
the
Rahul
thing,
Gandhi is so sure, so convinced that he was not wrong in asking...
You know, here's the thing. By all means, the BJP can say that foreign interference is uncalled for. But a JPC has happened in the past. What stops the government from acceding to a request for a JPC? At least the legislative business will start. At least work will get done. Because incessantly, now we are going to have both of these parties pulling in different directions. Why?
Padmaja, one of the banks that raised doubts against Adani is 97% down and appealing to the central bank of its respective country for a bailout today, just an hour ago. And if you invested in Adani a month ago, your investment would be in profits today. A year ago, you would still be in profits. 5 years ago, your profit would be up by more than 1000%. This is a simple Google search I request the Congress should do now instead of engaging in rhetorics. They want a JPC against what? A private enterprise which was a victim of a short seller group, which is now making profits, which is receiving the faith of the investors. What for? As a distraction to the real business. Again, Rahul Gandhi has done something that has neutralized all his efforts during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. He's gone on a foreign soil. He said that there is a case that the West needs to react to the democracy that has already died in India. The same democracy where he did a Bharat Jodo Yatra, where the Supreme Court granted him relief, where the media gives him all the attention like we're doing it right now, where the election commission calls him his party a winner of a certain election. He's declared that democracy dead on a foreign soil and is now wondering, why is there no response? Oh, because there is trade and money involved. Oh, it's not an Indian battle alone, but one that the world needs to fight for the larger good. What is he trying to imply here? And one final point, Padmaja. He says that the Union of States needs negotiation and conversation. Isn't the Congress aware about Article 3 of the Constitution? What is Rahul Gandhi saying? That tomorrow, if a separatist group stands up in any part of the country, if he were the Prime Minister or artificially running the government like UPA was, would he sit down and negotiate with those separatists? That's the question I think the BJP should be asking.
Kamruzzaman Chowdhury.
Listen, Padmaja, the basic point that Tushar want to drive out here is criticize the Congress government, but not analyze the topics that were being raised by the Congress party. Jairam Ramesh, as the head of the communications, has given out around 85 questions till date on Hum Hai Adani Ke Kaun. These are the set of questions. I request Tushar Gupta as a journalist, please take out this question, analyze this question and search for the answers. Not that everything is profit-minded. How India has sold itself to monopolistic businesses across various sectors. That is the main problem that we are facing out here. We cannot create another East India company in India right now.
Sir, you won't have to wait very long. Just by the way, just quick 2 points. Quick 2 points. Hyperbole on 185 questions doesn't necessarily mean that they are legitimate questions. 185,000 questions were also raised on the Rafale deal, and we all know what happened. What happened as a result, point number one. And point number two, even if these questions persist, within 2 months there will be a report in sealed cover which will be given to the Supreme Court by a Supreme Court appointed and monitored committee into exactly the same issues.
You are confusing
that the Congress is raising.
No, you are confusing the two entirely, Padmaja.
To settle this debate.
What was the Supreme Court's order?
One simple question.
Supreme Court's order was not investigate the role of Adani in share manipulation. No, It was how to improve the SEBI's functioning. That was the difference between Adani investigated and the role of SEBI
Rajasthan
in the
government,
entire financial market. It's a difference between the two orders. Please do not confuse. Adani's issue needs to be discussed threadbare in the parliament, needs the JPC to unravel whatever mysteries are there in it. As a common man, Padmaja, you and me, we both want to know.
So as a common man, you don't trust the Supreme Court appointed committee?
Jairam Rameshi has put out in public domain.
So then why was so? Let me ask you just one thing then finally.
It is not in the domain of investigating.
Padmaja, one question.
Okay, final question, Tushar Gupta. Yes.
One question. Why has the Rajasthan government under the Congress not snapped all its ties with the Adani?
Okay, let's not go down that because we've again discussed that also threadbare. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. You know, today Mallikarjun Kharge, when he was asked about what Smriti Irani said, where she demanded an unvarnished apology, he said Rahul Gandhi is going to answer her. In that case, we're certainly hoping that in the next few days we will hear from Mr. Gandhi, because even though he insists that the opposition's mics are switched off, the fact remains that the last he spoke in Parliament, he did speak for over 50 minutes. We're hoping to hear more from him again. I'll leave it at that. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining me.